What the hell is going on with you, Amber?
Shit. Why now? Amber had barely made it through her bedroom doorway when her brother's angry voice demanded an answer. Aiden had been away from the manor for the last few weeks dealing with his own problems. Since he was back and now butting into her life, she had to assume he'd gotten them resolved, and that he'd spoken to their parents. She deliberately avoided his question as she crossed the deep wine carpet to throw open the double doors of her closet. "I take it you got everything straightened out with the Donnellys?" she asked over her shoulder in a futile attempt to distract him. "How are Lindsay and Hannah doing?"
They're both fine. Though I'm kind of surprised you even know their names," he went on when she didn't acknowledge the dig. "You know, I kept expecting you to show up, to offer help, especially when Hannah was kidnapped, but no, not a call, not even a text. Why was that?"
Amber could feel his laser-like gaze scorching her back from where he stood in the doorway behind her. He was waiting for her to turn around, to confide in him, to explain. She couldn't. Amber was afraid if she looked him in the eye, he would be able to see all she was trying to hide. "Something came up," she said flippantly, as she pulled clothes at random from hangers. "I knew you could handle it, and you did." Even to her, the words sounded defensive.
"Yeah, we came out of it whole and healthy, thankfully. But now, instead of spending time with my girls, I'm here trying to figure out what's going on with you."
Wow, she thought. Their parents must have really given him an earful. "There's nothing going on with me." The blatant lie almost got caught in her throat. Amber didn't look back to see if he'd noticed. She kept busy gathering what she could from the closet. She so didn't need this right now. She had enough on her mind without having to dodge questions from an interfering brother. She'd hoped to sneak into the manor this morning and duck out again without anyone seeing her. She'd become very adept at avoiding the rest of her family. But luck hadn't been on her side today. Aiden had obviously seen her.
"Don't lie to me, Amber," he demanded again. "Something's going on."
"There isn't." She turned and headed back towards her bed, her arms full of clothes, shoes, and duffel bags.
"Damn it, Amber, Mom and Dad are really worried about you. And since you refuse to tell them what's going on, you can explain it to me."
He closed the door behind him with the solid thump of a jail cell door closing.
"We're not leaving this room until you do."
She gave his tall, muscled frame a quick glance. He stood with his arms crossed over his chest, and he wore the same determined expression their father sometimes did. She'd grown up with that look, so she knew he wasn't going to take no for an answer. She'd have to tell him something. But what? Maybe she could just skim the surface enough to satisfy him and still not reveal too much. "Okay, there is something," she told him, as she stuffed jeans and shirts in the bag. "But it's no big deal. I'm taking care of it."
"Yeah, you look like you're taking care of it," he countered. "You've lost, what, 10 pounds? You don't just have bags under your eyes, Amber. You have the whole damn set of luggage. You look exhausted."
"Thanks. Love you too." She didn't need him to tell her she looked like shit. She already knew that. Every time she looked in the freaking mirror, she saw it. But she'd been so preoccupied lately, she hadn't really been able to think of those crazy little mundane things like food or sleep.
"Does it have anything to do with the guy you've been seeing?"
Her breath caught, and she swung around to face him fully for the first time. "How did you—"
"Since you didn't see fit to tell anyone what was going on, I did a little detective work on my own. I talked to some of your friends. You know."
He tilted his head slightly as his hand slid into the front pockets of his jeans.
"It really pays off having a private investigator in the family. You pick up all kinds of neat little tricks."
Aiden pinned her with his green eyes again.
"Who is he? What has he done to you?"
She couldn't bring herself to answer him.
"Amber."
His arms dropped to his sides, and his tone gentled as he took a couple of steps closer to her.
"I know we haven't had a chance to really get used to this brother-sister thing yet, but you can talk to me. I can help. Tell me what's going on."
He was right. They weren't as close as siblings who had grown up together. but she had gotten to know him pretty well since he'd been back.